Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Into the Unbeing Part 1. This is a first collection from Dark Horse Comics. Let's talk about the creative team. This is written by Zach Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman and letters by Jim Campbell. So I'm catching up on a few things that I haven't read the collections for, but I read the first issue. You may remember we have a review on the channel for Into the Unbeing issue number 1, where I talked about what kind of nightmare fuel we were getting into. And as I dove further into the book, definitely that really comes to a head. Let me give you a quick synopsis here. Love yourself inside its innards. A group of climate scientists working in a remote base camp on the Australian outback discover an impossible landform. Led by botanist Hildur, the team sets out to conduct a routine exploratory mission to map out the new terrain, record their observations, and try to understand this anomalous landscape. They arrive expecting the unexpected. The Unbeing delivers. The expedition discovers a massive, entirely novel giant holobiont that threatens to upend the everything they understand about the natural world. Propelled by hubris and the intoxicating charm of the forbidden knowledge, the research team descends into a hostile alien environment allowed to thrive without human interference. The beautiful yet unforgiving landscape hosts strange flora, dangerous gregarious fauna, and dangerous predators lurking in the darkness. As the team pushes deeper, can they survive long enough to find out what they're looking for? So I did go into this book knowing, now that the collection is out, that part two is coming out later. So although there is kind of a resolution in this, the story is far from over, and I could really tell just because as we were diving deeper and deeper into this, no pun intended, especially, but once you read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, the mystery that Zach Thompson manages to build out here, it's very well balanced by the exploration of these individual characters, these individual explorers. To me, the best thing I can compare this to, and this is in the best way possible, is there's a film called The Descent, where a group of women go spelunking in a cave, and they kind of get sucked down deeper and deeper into what almost feels like this living organism. uh and this has a lot, like, this has a lot that there's many differences, there's many novel things to approach here, but just that's my quick pitch on how to get you sold onto the book. If it's not just on the talent of Zach Thompson and Hayden Sherman. um Another big reason that I want to read this book is because I have been reading a lot of Hayden Sherman books. I'm a big fan of his artwork. I think that he has a really cool, distinctive style. It's very reminiscent of some creators that just give you these vibes of like weird things happening. It looks very dark and gritty, but at some moments it just looks very bizarre. I think the way that Sherman designs characters, that he really wants to make characters feel unique and different, and make sure that you can keep track of everybody. So they have different haircuts, hairstyles, like just the way that they carry themselves physically, the way that they look, the way that just they act around each other, even just all those little details that I think Sherman, and obviously a lot of that stuff is in the script, but it really makes the characters feel unique and distinct, even though it's all the same. It's all just a group of like explorers and scientists that are trying to do things. I think another big trick that Thompson, not a trick, but I mean, just another thing that Thompson accomplishes is that you're invested in the story of these characters, even if you've only known them for like, 20 pages or 40 pages as the issues go on. So every issue, we get a little bit of a look into the background of some of these explorers, some of these scientists. And then, meanwhile, there's still the massive task of building the world outside of this. Like, what's going on? Why is the world in the shape that it is? Almost like in this post-apocalyptic type of era. Of course, now we are in Australia, so there's still a big part of why the world looks and feels the way it is because it is kind of a desert place for a lot of that continent. But then, as the scientist, as the group comes into this the unbeing, um, and they just dive deeper and deeper, and it's almost like you want to tell them to stop and get out, but then you realize that at the point where they are, the only way out is really going forward. And then, of course, I don't want to spoil anything, but Thompson really does a good job of mapping out this trip where you start kind of putting everything together in your head and you discover, like, maybe that's the way that we are building out. What is this unbeing? What are they diving into? What do they keep going into, right? So there's also the mystery of, like, what are the motivations for these scientists? Why are they working for this group that really has them on this mission, and then what is their bigger mission overall, and to top it all off, the leader Hilder is, first of all, she's lost from the group from the beginning, so now they even have to work without her. So yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff here. Hayden Sherman draws some of the coolest, weirdest, most gnarly things you've ever seen, and then also some of the just more nightmare fuel, or like just grotesque things that you can imagine. Um, and this book just works so well. There's a few pages where a few pages in the issue where you have to turn the book around and you have to kind of like follow it in a horizontal way. I always love when a book makes me physically have to turn the comic book to kind of follow it around. I think that's a really neat trick that that can feel like a gimmick, but if it's done right in the right place, and in this book it really is, then you'll really, I like it. Just really enhances my experience. So I really like this one, and I'm already planning to read another thing by Hayden Sherman just because I want some more of that gritty, grotesque, but also very finely detailed art. Um, Also, Hayden Sherman doing the colors on this, where nothing is just like the standard coloring. Like, there's nothing that feels like just a standard coloring pattern. That really not only makes the world feel weird and different, like something's off the kilter, but it also just gives it a unique look. Every issue has like this kind of page of prose where it expands on the world or really sets more of the theme and the themes that Zach Thompson is exploring here. And I can't wait for part two. I think part two is going to be a killer book. I don't know if there's going to be more after that. I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but we got a really fun book here, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. So if you have read this, Into the Unbeing, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.